Hey, how's it going? New Hope, great to see you. It's been a hard week, I know, for a lot of you, so we love you. We're praying for you. We're in this together. This is another video that is meant to update you on our merger conversations and our merger process. We've been talking a lot about that. And if this is a new topic to you and you're totally unfamiliar, you can go to our website, newhope.pdx.org/relocation. And there's past videos there and a ton of information, including FAQs. Always you can reach out with any questions. The purpose of today's video is to introduce you to this wonderful woman. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our church?
Hi, New Hope. My name is Denise Douglas. I'm the lead pastor at Mount Scott Church of God, and it's just a joy to sit down and start getting acquainted. Even though you can see me, I can't see you. I can't wait to get to meet some of you in person.
Yeah, why don't you? I mean, we got to do these quick videos, right? So we could talk all day, but for someone who maybe doesn't know you at all, maybe they've heard about you a little bit. Can you give like a minute context as to who you are?
I will try my best. So I grew up in southeast Colorado on a farm. My mom was a high school English teacher.
You're a farm girl.
Yeah, I am a farm girl. Love that part of my heritage. Loved it. But then I left the small farm. Our town was like 300 people, seriously. And if we count the cows, and went to Houston, Texas to college, and graduated there, came to Oregon for my first position as a youth pastor in Albany, Oregon. So I've been here since 1985, served Albany and then Tigard Church of God for about 6 years. Married to my husband, Fred Douglas, who was with Youth for Christ for 40 years. And then went on Mount Scott on their staff in 2001. Okay. So,
and you've been lead pastor since
2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. If just to add a little color, like if you have some downtime, what do you like to fill your downtime? What's your hobbies? That kind of deal.
My hobbies are going to Starbucks with a good novel or grabbing a book. That doesn't happen very often, but yeah.
Great. As New Hopers know who have kind of kept up with this process, or maybe if you're new to the process, you don't know this, our conversation started about 5 months ago, the Monday after Easter, if I think I'm correct. And as I've told our congregation, I was working on the next sermon, and I got an email from you. I didn't know you at the time, and it had a letter attached that had some interesting ideas and proposals and kind of like, hey, let's talk. And I think we either talked that day or the next day. Yeah. So it happened pretty quickly. And in that, you presented a couple different ideas, if I remember correctly. One, if we'd have any interest in the building, because as you looked at our website, it fit a lot of the profile, what we're looking for. But then you suggested maybe a second option, and that's the conversations we've been involved in, this merger. So talk to us a little bit about that. What led to that moment of you sending that email 5 months ago?
Okay, well, at Mount Scott, the last 5 to 7 years, we have really leaned into who are we going to be? Who's God calling us to be in this moment? And we have such a heart to not just run parallel to the world, but to intersect the world and the community, and that's our heartbeat. And we're a small congregation in a big building, like so many churches today. And we had, as part of our vision, we decided to reallocate some of our assets in order to build a community gathering place and a place for next generations. We had entered into a purchase sales agreement with a senior living facility to purchase some of our land that would enable us to continue to really do some great things in the neighborhood. And then COVID hit. And then we had really built a relationship with this company. Our church liked this guy, the owner, and our neighborhood liked him. And when COVID hit, because of his business in senior living, they had to pull out. Everything kind of came to a crashing halt for them. They've weathered it pretty well. They're in California, but they're not expanding. And so it was close to Easter. We let that go. We said, let's just walk through Holy Week. Let's really be in prayer. It was a time of mourning and loss to lose that possibility. And then, as you said, the day after Easter, I was really just praying that morning, and my devotional that morning was on God-given visions. And it just, it was a great devotional, and I just rekindled, okay, God, here we are, we're past Easter. What's our next step in this moment? And I can't say why, but New Hope came to mind. I thought, oh, I wonder where they're at in this process. I wonder if, I knew you guys were selling your building. I wondered if that happened. And so I jumped on your site and I saw that new tab, relocation. I thought the page was done so well. It was so transparent. But as I began to read it, and I saw what you were looking for next, and I read about your values, and I've known this about New Hope for a long time, that there was synergy around values. But I just had that moment where I just felt like, God, is there a conversation that's supposed to happen here? Yeah. And so that's what led to me reaching out. I, ran it by our board chair and our Future Focus team leader and said, I just look at this and look in who we are and who they are and what they need and where we're headed. Is there something that we could do together that would be a God thing? Yeah. And so they said, contact him. And so I did. That's
great. I think it's easy for people watching, and I would feel this way if I was watching and hearing the story, to be compelled by the practicality of this, right? Of like a building, we don't have a building, those kind of things. And we don't want to dismiss this. There is some truth to that raw practicality. But I guess you'll just have to trust us. And I know that we've had this conversation a lot. That's not what excites us about this. Buildings come and go, this and that. I mean, we just left a building, right? The church is not a building. And what excites us about this is, you use the word, and I love that word, synergy. And for me at least, from the get-go, when I started talking to Denise and met Stuart, their chairman, and have gotten to know other people from Mount Scott, it felt like meeting old friends. It just felt like finishing each other's sentences, and our dreams for the community and for the mission God has called us to were so similar. It was almost uncanny.
Right.
Kind of like, are you making this up? That's how we talk about it, and that goes into theology. We had those hard conversations from the get-go.
Right away.
That's important, and there was incredible synergy theologically. And I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, I felt that from the very beginning.
Absolutely, and I guess in the early stages too, I just kept thinking, oh, this conversation might be the end conversation, because I didn't know for sure that we would line up so well theologically. It's not always that you find. Especially a larger church that aligns where we are on, say, on women in ministry or community outreach and just different things, and we just kept getting more excited because we were in tune with so many things that we discussed early on.
Yeah, so a phrase that we've talked about since the beginning, and it can sound like marketing and stuff like that, and again, this is something that came naturally to us, is could coming together in two communities, becoming one, merging, could that make a better story for the kingdom?
Right.
And that's kind of what's been, you've heard me say this from the beginning, like if we sense that it isn't going to make a better story, let's be done with this.
Right.
But let's keep moving forward if we think that the end goal, the two churches becoming one, can be a greater expression of the local church for the mission that God's called both of our churches to.
Right.
And increasingly we're saying yes. That seems like that is the case. And I think that is the excitement for me. I don't do churches for buildings. I don't do it for all that kind of stuff. I do it because of the call of Jesus upon our lives and what it looks like to be the hands and feet of Jesus in the community. I know that you share that. So yeah, I guess we wanted to share that with you. That is the truth, and I guess they'll have to trust us on that, right? Another thing that you shared earlier that has been true for me in my experience, and I think that we've had this conversation as well. There have been many times in my life where I felt distinctly the movement of God, and this is, and God does that, and sometimes God doesn't, but you said early on, you kind of felt that gentle prodding, and that was unique for you to reach out to New Hope. I think from the minute I got your email to those first conversations, I've felt that. And again, that's another trust thing, because I think we can be manipulative with that, like God's part of this and you got to get on board. That's for people to choose, but I think that's been our experience. That's the truth. And I think for the core people involved in these conversations, there's been a tangible sense of God's presence. That doesn't mean that God can't depart to bar and say, we're done with this, and he's the king. We'll walk away if that's what he wants. But it increasingly seems that God is central to this story, to this crafting of a better story. Would you Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, I do. And I think this time that we're walking through right now is so showing us that the church isn't about a building, right? And so I hope everybody can relax about that a little bit. It'd be great to have that location and to do ministry there and out of there, but that's not what it's about. Like you said, we just see as our team has gotten to know you, and there seemed to be an immediate trust level. You build trust, I think, in people sincerely, John.
Most people like me after like the third time.
Is that right?
It takes like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, okay, so maybe that was true with us, but we have enjoyed meeting some of your staff and your board of elders, and we just had that comfort level pretty quick. I think the thing that excites me is just to be able to link arms with more people in the kingdom to do what God's called us to do. And we immediately loved your phrase, does God have a better story together for us? And if not, we would be thrilled that we met you all, that we have more friends praying with us and for us and out there on the front lines. But it's seeming more and more like I think we could have a better story together.
I agree, and I think in this whole season we're in, that there's a lot of words that we could use for this season, but one of them is division. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of division. I wish that wasn't true in the church. I think it's true in the church. I think it's true in our nation. Mm-hmm. Everywhere I look, people seem to be yelling and fighting. This is not a story of division. This is the exact opposite. And this is the story of Jesus, I think in John 17, or one of those chapters, is when he's at the Last Supper right before the cross, he talks about that's one of the marks of knowing that the church is the church, is when people come together and they're unified, the word unity. And that's a beautiful aspect of this story. Mm-hmm. I think the story is going to be beautiful in many ways, but in a world of division, coming together for the greater good. Mm-hmm. That's an incredible story.
It is.
And I'm delighted to be part of it. You're delighted to be part of it. I hope you're delighted to be a part of it. But we wanted you just to hear our hearts a little bit. I wanted you to get to see Denise and meet her. She's eager to get to know all of you. We want to continue to invite you to pray. This is a spiritual deal. And we know good things that for the kingdom, the evil one lurks around those things. So we need prayers for wisdom and courage and protection. So please, please, please pray. I want to invite you to do that regularly. And inform yourselves. So if there's gaps in information, if you're feeling kind of on the outside like you don't know enough and you want to know more, there's a ton of information on the website, newhopepdx.org/relocation. Go there, watch some of the videos, get caught up. If you still have questions and concerns, right here, just call us. Email us, call me, call somebody on our staff. We want to have conversations. We want you as the church to be part of this story. So thanks for joining us. We know your time is valuable. If you liked the video and found it informing and edifying, share it with other people that may not have seen it. And stay tuned. We'll continue to do videos like this. I'm sure you'll see Denise more in the coming weeks and months. So thanks so much. Take care. New Hope.
Thanks. Bye.